Hey everyone, it's me, Donna. Okay, I'm making this video in order to ask for some help with my family tree. Um, but first, let me get on a little bit of a soapbox. Okay, here lately, or shall I say, actually, ever since I've been doing online research over the last few years, I've had some people that are very critical that because they only put down what is documented, they criticize other people who kind of go on hunches or who do like a process, like when they don't have the information, they kind of do the process of elimination in order to add ancestors to their tree. They think that's a big no-no and all that, and they think that their way is the only way to go when it comes to their family tree. I disagree with that, and this is why. Because number one, documentation can be wrong. Um, you know, because first of all, people do lie. People lie for many reasons. They've been doing it for generations. So, you got to take that into account. You got to take into account that a lot of times people didn't know when they were born. Even me, as the years have gone by, there are times when I have brain farts and I forget how old I am, and I have to sit there and think, okay, I was born in so and so, so that means, it happens to everybody. Never thought it would happen to me in my younger days, but yeah, it happens. Okay. So they didn't have all this record keeping that we have today, birth certificates, all that type of thing. So a lot of times they just wrote things down in the family Bible or just, a piece of paper or whatever. And once that got lost, then the information got lost. Okay. So basically, as they got older and they might forget how old they are, they might give the wrong year or something, or 4 or 5 or whatever. People lie to get married, especially back then. There were some states that, and even now there are states where like the legal age is like 16 or whatever. And some people wanted to get married at like 13 and 14. So they would lie about their age in order to get married. Happened all the time. Okay. And of course, things get misspelled, names get misspelled. The person writing down this information, sometimes they write things down wrong. And a lot of times these people that go out and take the census, they'll write down the wrong name. I've seen that time and time again, looking back at the documentation, especially the original papers, names definitely got written down wrong. Okay. And so it happened. It happened all the time. So, even these perfectionists out there that want to criticize people like me, for using my method to put people in my tree, they could be wrong as well. Okay, so there is no perfect way to do it. Although it's great, it's wonderful when you can find documentation to back up your ancestors' existence. Okay, but in my case, a lot of times I've come across ancestors, there's just no way. Like, they might pop up one time, their whole entire existence, and that's all the information that I have. Or, for instance, being is that I'm not rich and I don't want to pay a big, huge amount for these subscriptions to some of these companies, because, a lot of these companies like Ancestry and all that, they have these databases of information about your ancestors that they have acquired. But yet, you got to pay them a subscription to get to that information. I don't have that money to spare right now. Maybe one day I will. And especially if I were wealthy, I would gladly do it to get this information. But being as I'm not, and I don't, I have to work with what I have. Okay. I'm glad that things have changed a little bit, because when I first started doing this, Ancestry.com pretty much dominated the internet when it comes to information. And not only them, but these other companies, everything was on lockdown. Like you couldn't hardly get a hold of anything. Um, when it come to finding this information out. Now, there was a loophole with Ancestry that I used back in the day, a few years ago. But then they put a lockdown on that. And so then there was just no way. Okay. But now other companies have come along, especially like that familysearch.org and, a few others here and there where you can find documents and you can find a little information here and there to, to help you out. I think that's wonderful and I'm glad, but that wasn't available to me back in the day. So I just had to work with what I have. Okay. And so when I started some of these people out, like I knew up to a certain amount on my own. Okay. Just knew from just family, whatever. But my family only goes back to a certain, generation that actually knew anything. Okay. I wasn't lucky enough to be raised around my family for 8 generations or whatever, or, have ancestors that knew everything about each other and everything was documented and written down and all this stuff. And, I didn't have that privilege. Okay. So my family was mostly scattered out and, I barely knew anything about, my great grandparents or whatever. And being that both my grandfathers died when I was like 3 years old, I had to rely on, other people in the family and, what little bit they knew. And even that, there's times when things get messed up. Okay. There's times when people get confused about things, all that type of stuff. Okay. So, I just have to work with what I got. Okay. And I'm not going to just stop because, I find a Henry and there's 5 other Henrys. And because I can't find the exact right one that's documented that, he definitely was in the household of so-and-so, I try to do the process of elimination, okay, and pick out the best Henry that I can. And I put a thing called a question mark beside Henry or Henry's father's name so that anyone else doing their tree that stumbles upon my tree or that, that tries to connect, you will see that it could or could not be that person. Okay. So be aware of that. Okay. If you stumble upon my tree, any of my lines, that could be the case. Okay. Don't be mad at me and don't criticize me because I'm waiting around my whole life for everything to be documented and perfected before I add it to my tree. Not gonna happen, because if I did that, I would never get anywhere. Okay. You just, sometimes you just got to take a chance and go on a hunch, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So having said that, okay, I ran into, initially I had one line of girlies. Okay. And I will show you that right here. Let's see, it was, William Gurley. Okay, right here. Okay. Initially, I had this line in my family tree, and I connected up to these people DNA wise. Okay. All that was lining up in my tree, but somebody come along and told me that no, that was the wrong family line. Okay. So, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm still DNA related to these people. I'm related to not only the Girlies, I'm kin to the Stevensons, the Griggs, the Cook, the Moore, Hannons, all those. I was DNA linked to all these people through other people. Okay. So I know I'm kin. I just don't know exactly where I tie into this line. I thought I knew, like even after this, I went back and I looked at other people's trees and all that stuff a few days ago, and I thought that I had found the connection, but apparently, someone else said, no, that's not it. So I don't know. I'm just still confused because, I had this Joel Gurley connected up to a William Gurley, but no, this person says that's not so, that it's a John Gurley, all that type of thing. So I don't know. And this person, they document everything and all that stuff. So I'm going to go with it for now, but it may change. I don't know. Okay. But there is some way I am DNA related to this line, and all these people connected up to this line somehow, some way. Okay. All right. And maybe I will find that out. Okay. But let me go back and look. For now, I had to go back. All right. Here's the deal. All right. The reason why I was even connected up to that other line in the first place was because of this woman right here, Alma Gurley. Okay. There's two Alma Gurleys. One of them was born later than this Alma. It was like around 13 years or so later, give or take a year. And therefore it caused confusion. And so that's why I thought it was that other Alma, because I didn't have access to this Alma's information at that time. It was nowhere, like nowhere I looked. Everything I looked at kept pointing to that other Alma. So I went with that. Okay. All right. But now I know through documentation, okay, that this is the Alma. Okay. This is my Alma. All right. And her parents were it listed on her marriage, because she was married to two people, okay, that I know of. Okay, the second person that she married to, there's documentation that says that her father was a John Gurley and her mother was a Drusilla Gurley, and that name may be misspelled. That's the thing, because let me say this: her her daughter, one of her daughters, actually has the name Drusilla in her name, but it's spelt different than what is on the document for this Drusilla. So I don't know. I don't know if the person writing down the name on the document misspelled it, or if that's how she actually spelled it. So, there could be 2 or 3 different ways of spelling that name. Okay. All right. So that's what I know so far as a fact, as far as documents go. Okay. And here's the thing. Okay. So I went and looked up all these Johns. Okay. And I stumbled upon a John that fit, even though there's no documentation that directly links him up to this Drusilla other than her marriage. There's no census that I'm aware of, or marriage record, or anything that actually directly links these two up. Okay, and that's why I say if you come across this yourself and want to share it with me, I really would appreciate it. As far as I know, this John Gurley was born in Mississippi. Okay, I'm not exactly sure where she was born. I think she was born in Arkansas. Okay. And I think she died in Arkansas, but again, I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay. So that's what I know. All right. But there is a John that belongs to, a William Livingston Gurley. That is documented. He fits the bill as far as, the age and all that type of thing, in general area. Okay, because there's other Johns that don't fit. Like they went off up north. They married other women. Some of them went off in the military and married other women and all that stuff. So I eliminated them because it didn't fit. Okay, so unless maybe they divorced those women, or and then ended up marrying her, or maybe her and him never actually officially got married. They could have just had a child or two together. I don't know, because I don't even know if this Alma has a sibling or not. I just don't know. Okay. So given that, I decided to go ahead and go, because, with this particular John that connects to him, and because I do have documentation that he did have a son named John that pretty much fits the bill. And also he's documented as being in his household, and he's documented as being in his household. And there is a document that says that Jacob is his father. Okay. So that's on record. All right. I'm not sure about this Jacob's wife because she appears in a few family trees at different ages and paired up with different people. So I'm going to have to investigate her further to figure that out. But anyway, that's what I know about these people. Okay. And the interesting thing is I do link up DNA wise with these people. Okay. So when I click on this person and I go right here to through lines, okay, click on it. If it will load up. Okay. And I do have quite a bit of DNA links leading up to this person, which I'm trying not to show, the actual people that I'm DNA kin to for privacy reasons. But I think there's like 14 people leading on down through the lines from, all the different children or whatever, or potential children, because I'm not 100% sure who all his children were, okay, that lead to that are DNA linked to me. Okay. So I know that much. All right. And I also, even with this Simon Van Winkle's family, let me click on the through lines with it. I'm kin to people connected up to him and to the Bennett S. Aiden. So there's definitely a connection there, okay? But I don't know if I have it exactly right as far as the actual link. And even, let's look at this Colonel John Pugh Williams. Okay, there's connections up to him, which I can't really hide everybody, but anyway, that's, there's plenty of connections up to him. Okay. So that much I do know. So I'm definitely kin, but I just don't know if I've got it 100% right. Okay. So having said that, and everyone knowing I'm not perfect. Okay. If you do have any information that links this man in the same household with this woman, I would really appreciate your help. Okay. So yeah. And also what's interesting, and I'm going to state this, is that on up this line, I'm kin to these people again through the Paces. Let me go up here. Okay. This Barnabas B. Pace. Okay, there's a lot of DNA connections. But this woman right here, she's a potential daughter of this Barnabas B. Pace. Okay, again, it's not 100%, but she's a potential daughter of him. Okay, apparently, this Martha married a Gurley because the descendants are Girlies, and some of them are the same cousins that are connecting up to me through this down here. Okay. So yeah, it's created an interesting dilemma. Okay. But right now, what I need help with is this John Gurley and then this Drusilla Smith. And Smith may not be her real name, or she may have married a Smith and got that last name and then married a Gurley. I mean, there's several different scenarios that could have given her the name Smith. I mean, with him, you can pretty much say, okay, well, he was born with that name unless he just changed it. Some spelling variation of that name, okay? But with her, if she married, multiple people, then her name could be anything, okay? But what I am going to do is I'm going to test out some Smiths, because I have found some some Smiths within the region of Arkansas, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, within that time frame. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create separate trees or separate branches that are not connected to me with those people, and you know, try to get it as documented as I can, okay, for them. And then if anybody else connects up to those lines and it pops up on my tree, like what it will do is if I do connect, or it thinks, if ancestry.com thinks that I'm possibly kin to someone within that, coming up their tree in that way, it will pop up a potential ancestor. Or even if you're just doing your tree and you didn't do a DNA test, it will still pop up potential ancestors if it thinks that ancestor might be yours, going by other people's trees, the information that they had put. Okay, so if that's the case, then that might help me connect up DNA wise. Even though even that won't be 100%, but it will still be better than what I have right now. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, and I just wanted to just, you know, ask for some help with this. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.